Local law enforcement is now speaking out and giving us their insight. Local law enforcement now is speaking out, and now we're getting some new information on what happened moments before the Trump rally tragedy. We have got to hear about this. What's up, y'all? It's your boy Pascal. Welcome to the Pascal Show. As you guys already know, we have been watching and giving you guys updates in regards to this whole tragedy that happened a couple days ago at this Trump rally. Now we're getting some new information about law enforcement. Law enforcement is now coming out and giving us more insight on what happened. And, we've all been wondering what happened? What actually happened here? Did a cop actually go up there and pull himself up? And, how did he get up there? Did he use a ladder? Did he, what did he do? Did he fall? Did he retreat? Did he run away? Did he scurry back into the bushes? What actually happened here? What went down here? As you guys already know, law enforcement has been pointing fingers at each other like crazy. Local, state, and federal agencies have been just doing that Spider-Man meme, you know what I mean? We're all pointing fingers at each other. It's his fault. No, it's his fault. No, he did it. They did it. We didn't know. They didn't know. I didn't know. You didn't know. It's been absolutely crazy, right? But before we go into this piece, because obviously, they are now talking and giving us more insight on what actually happened here, which is interesting. But there's something else that Brian Entin posted that I wanted to share with you guys that I thought that was very, very telling. Okay, so let's take a look at this. And Brian Entin, of course, is of News Nation. If you don't know, please check him out. Great investigative reporter and very, very much, boots on the ground, that kind of thing. But he got some information here that I thought was absolutely fascinating. He says a source close to the Butler Township Police Department says officers were surprised they were assigned partial responsibility for the area outside the Trump rally perimeter. They're like, wait a second, we're responsible to hold the outside of this whole rally? What? Especially with tall buildings. Remember, Secret Service had a problem with everything. They were like, yeah, we the roofs are too slopey. But let's not forget, they were actually on rooftops too, but they were just on rooftops closer to Trump. They just weren't on the perimeter. Okay. And those rooftops, last I checked, were slopey as well. But anyway, moving on, expected a department their size to be doing traffic, not security. I think that's very interesting, guys, right? I mean, yes, I get it. Because when you hear the last part here, the second post, which I found to be interesting, it'll all start making sense on why. You might think, why would they only want to do traffic? Are they just lazy? Is local law enforcement just lazy? No, it has to do with, I think, personnel, manpower, and whatnot. Source says local officers were also surprised the Secret Service perimeter was not bigger. That is interesting as well. They just kept it very close to the actual event area, but not outside of that. That's very weird in my personal opinion. And then Butler Township Police is a small department with 12 full-time patrol officers. Now, the reason why I say this is, listen, if you got 12 full-time patrol officers, obviously, you're a small town. For a small town, that might be a lot. I don't know. But at the same time, let's be real. That is not enough to handle a huge rally like Trump's rally. Let's keep it real. But getting back into this article here, I think it's really interesting. Again, they're all pointing fingers at each other. It's very, very interesting. All right. The Butler Township manager, Tom Knights, okay, is the one who has been speaking out. Okay. And they said, of course, there's been a lot of hate mail, a lot of angry phone calls blaming its officers for failing to keep the former president safe. Okay. And he's saying they couldn't be more wrong. All right. And he said this on an interview today. All right. He said, despite the dozen, or they said, despite the dozens of local, state, and federal law enforcement officers on the scene, Knight said It was 4 Butler Township officers assigned to traffic duty who bolted from their post and raced to confront the assailant, TMC, with one clinging to the roof where the would-be assassin was perched. He says, "Our officers acted instinctively, did their job, followed the training that they had." And I think that's very important to hear that as well. We already know about Thomas Crooks, okay, 20 years old, opening fire on this whole rally. We already know all of that, okay? The attempt on his life, on Trump's life, which missed only by inches, okay, has prompted strong criticism of the Secret Service by law enforcement experts and members of both parties. It has also set off a wave of finger pointing across multiple law enforcement agencies as to who was responsible for securing the building the monster used. Now, the Secret Service has blamed local authorities, which we already heard about that, without naming specific agencies. They're just like, it was their fault. It wasn't us. It was them over there. They were supposed to do all that in the perimeter. We're supposed to just protect everybody on the inside. It's their fault, right? Interesting. Knights, okay, the Butler Township manager, okay, he said that the township's officers did everything they could to stop Crooks. Now, this is interesting. The information that we're going to hear is very interesting, all right? So get ready. They say the officers were assigned to manage traffic Saturday afternoon outside the Trump rally, okay, at this Butler Farm Show, an outdoor venue. But they leapt into action when they heard a radio call about a suspicious person on the roof of a nearby building, Knight said. Okay, now, of course, if there was a radio call, when was that radio call made? That's what I'd like to know. Where's the truth here? Okay, if there was indeed a radio call saying that there was a suspicious person on a nearby roof, okay, how long ago was that radioed in? But let's continue on. The officers converged to the building, okay, converged on the building owned by a glass research company, but couldn't see anybody above because they were too close. So 2 of the officers went to what appeared to be the lowest point from ground to roof. One of the officers actually boosted the second officer up high enough for him to grab hold of the roof. When he was able to pull his head over the roof, he did in fact see an individual on the roof with a weapon. This assailant pointed his rifle at the officer who was hanging on the edge of the roof. The officer ducked his head, lost grip, and fell about 8 feet to the ground. So instead, they're saying he didn't retreat in a way. He kind of reacted because he was, of course, trying to dodge if he was going to pull the trigger, okay, and lost grip, and he fell 8 feet to the ground. That's pretty far. That's a far fall, but sounds like he was okay. He got up, dusted himself off, and the 2 officers, the one who fell and the one who boosted him up, both got on their radios to report that there was someone or a person on the roof with a weapon. It was not clear on how long after that the monster began taking aim at Trump. The building the monster managed to scale was less than 150 yards away from the stage where Trump was speaking. Knight says that the building was identified as a point of interest in 2 security meetings prior to the weekend rally. Now, I got to use this. That's very interesting, don't you think? Not only are we hearing information about like, okay, all agencies are pointing fingers at each other. They're all pointing blame. They're sitting there going, that's his fault. No, it's his fault. It's this agency. It's this department. It's this department. They were supposed to do this, that, and the third, right? But they're also sitting there saying that, let me just show that to you guys again, for those of y'all the nosebleed seats, all right? They identified this area, that particular building, as a point of interest in 2 security meetings prior to the weekend rally. That was something they were going to be vigilant in planning for, he said. He also wasn't clear which agency was supposed to be guarding the building. Officers from several agencies were called in to provide security at the event. The Butler Township Police Department has, as I told you guys a second ago, 12 full-time patrol officers, which is not enough. The Secret Service has said it was responsible for securing the inner perimeter, but the building was part of the outer perimeter and therefore left to local authorities to protect. Now, we already know, okay, that the director of the Secret Service has spoken out, basically saying, "Oh yeah, the buck stops here with me," right? But yeah, she was actually passing the buck when she said, "No, it wasn't us. It was local law enforcement. It's their fault," right? She says there was local law enforcement or local police in that building, that very building in which TMC was on top of, crawling on top of. That building was literally a staging area for local law enforcement. Unbelievable. And he was on top of that. And they still didn't see him until the very last minute. All right. But she says, let me repeat that again. There was local police in that building. She continues on in this interview that she did, which we saw earlier. There was local police in the area that were responsible for the outer perimeter of the building. Of course, Cheadle didn't specify which agency she was referring to. Okay. And of course, Knights, the manager, okay, is now looking forward to seeing a full investigation of what went wrong. He says the investigation will put a lot of light on how the entire event happened, how the entire situation happened. And I would caution people to not make rash judgment until such time as that investigation is completed. Now, here's the thing. I understand there's an absolute need to make sure we have everything locked in and the investigation is thoroughly done. We don't have all the information yet, but at the same time, it's already too late in a way because the speculation train has already left the station, baby. People have already come up with their conspiracies. In fact, there's more conspiracies just developing right now as I'm recording this video right now as we speak. Okay. But he is right. We need to err on the side of staying on the facts, staying on the investigation, and finding out what they unearth. But it is very interesting to hear that even local PD and other agencies are sitting here still pointing fingers at everyone else, right? Oh, we didn't know that we were supposed to do that. We only have 12 officers. We figured we would just be doing traffic, and everyone else that has a lot more boots on the ground, a lot more suited and booted individuals, a lot more people that are vetted in this particular type of protection, type of security, type of event security would be running point on these situations. They're sitting here saying that it's not only just federal and local. They're also saying that there was state PD there as well. And I keep wondering, why wasn't there like a head chief, right? Like a head leader for all state and local PD, right? And that maybe be the liaison between local PD, state PD, and federal, like the Secret Service. I'm just curious about that. It just feels like there was such a lack of communication, a lack of competence, a lack of experience, and almost it seems like a lack of care. Like, they got it. I trust them. They got it. They're going to take care of this. But how do we know that they got it and that they're going to take care of it? You can't trust people like that. You can't trust agencies. You need to make sure you have certain leaders in position to make sure certain things are done properly. This is the problem that we're seeing here, ladies and gentlemen. This is the problem. Man, this is crazy. But at some point, they really got to stop pointing the fingers at each other and take accountability. And that's on all agencies. This is a group effort, y'all. They all dropped the ball on this situation, in my personal opinion. But anyway, guys, that's the video. Comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Where do you stand on this? I mean, like I said, it's the Spider-Man meme. You know, they're all pointing fingers at each other. Now it's you. No, it's you. It's that agency. It's not us. It's them. And that's really, really sad. But it's also messed up. If Secret Service actually believed that a 12-man police department was going to handle all of the perimeter, that's crazy, especially a rally of this size. That's insane to me, guys. Really, it's insane. A lot of things need to be figured out, and all agencies, in my personal opinion, have a lot of explaining to do. Anyway, guys, that's the video. Comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Don't forget to crush that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're watching on Facebook, crush that follow button over there as well. It'd be great to have you a part of the Pascal Show family. Anyway, it's time to get going. Woo! It's only been Tuesday. And there's more coming, I'm sure. Anyway, guys, it's time to get going. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. We'll talk soon. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.
Pascal, you are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild.